In this video, I'll be sharing with you a continuation of this tutorial on how to make a slightly Basque dress with gathers. So if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. So here is my pattern. I've already cut it out on the fabric and I added 1/2 inch on the neckline, on the shoulder and at the lower part. So here I'm trying to cut out the lining of the dress and I'll go ahead to trace it out. So now on the main fabric of this dress, I'm going to go ahead to iron an stay to it, and after this I'll go ahead to turn the lining by the neckline and the side, and I'll go ahead to iron it out. But before doing that, I'll go ahead to pin it down. After pinning it down, I'll stitch up the neckline and also the sides. So here is the back pattern of this dress. I've gone ahead to cut it out. So the fabric I'm using is a bit stretchy, so I added only 1/2 inch at the lower part and the neckline of this dress. So now I'll also go ahead to iron a stay on it, stitch up the neckline, the sides and the zipper area of this dress. So I'll iron a stay so that it will stabilize the fabric. So here is the front pattern. After I'm done sewing it, I'll go ahead and give it a notch round. Then I'll go ahead to turn it to the right side of the fabric. Next, I'm going to sew up the dart of my dress. So I'll go ahead to fold it this way and make sure the neckline or the shoulder align. Now I'm going to place my tape and I'm going to mark my shoulder to bust plus 1 inch. From the center point, I'll mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and I'll go ahead to connect it. My nipple to nipple is 7 divided by 2. I have 3.5. So after doing this, I'll locate my waist, go ahead to mark 1/2 inch on both sides, and I'll extend from the upper part to that 1/2 inch and also extend at the other side. So I noticed this side is more than 1/2 inch and I'll go ahead to readjust it. So at the other side also, I'll place and mark my shoulder to bust plus 1 inch, and I'll go ahead to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. After marking it, I'll go ahead to connect and I'll find my waist, mark 1/2 inch on both sides, and I'll go ahead to extend it all the way down the 1/2 inch and then connect from that point all the way from the upper part all the way down. So I'll go ahead and stitch that out. For the back pattern of my dress, to mark the dart, I'll go ahead to mark out the zipper allowance of 1 inch and I'll go ahead to connect, drawing out a straight line. From that line now, I'll go ahead and place my shoulder and mark my shoulder to bust plus 1 inch. Now from the line, I'll be marking my nipple to nipple. That means my nipple to nipple plus that extra 1 inch. What I will now have here is 4.5 inches. That is my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus the extra 1 inch zipper allowance. So I'll locate my waistline and I'll mark 1/2 inch at both sides. So I'll repeat this for the other side of the dart also. So before going ahead to sew, I'll explain how to join the shoulder so that I'll do it at once. Now I'll take this part of the back shoulder, place it in between the front shoulder this way, and I'll be stitching with 1/2 inch. That is, take your back shoulder, place it at the middle point of your front and back shoulder, and you're going to stitch. For the sleeve of the dress, I'll be cutting a freehand method. I will not be using any measurements for the sleeve. Only the length of the sleeve is what I'll be using. So for the length of the sleeve, I'm using 8 inches. So for the width, I used more than the actual size of the sleeve because I want to I'll go ahead and cut out my sleeve, and the next thing is I'm going to take this and I'll place it on another sleeve and I'll go ahead to trace it out. At the lower part of this sleeve, you can go ahead to add an elastic casing, but in my case I'll be cutting out a band, but that band will be the actual measurement of my round sleeve. This place, you just measure what you have there and add 1 inch. So I'm cutting it on fold. So what I have round is about 6 inches and I'll add extra 1/2 or 1 inch to it. Then I'll now go ahead to cut it out. So each band should be about 1.5 inches on fold, making it 3 inches on fold or 2 inches on fold. So I'll just go ahead and cut out the excess and I'll divide what I have here into 2. So after dividing it, this is the round measurement of my sleeve. So now the lower part of this sleeve does not have any actual measurement. What I will now do is I will notch the center here, and I'll notch the up to note where I will join the sleeve to. So I'll go ahead and fold this band this way, get the midpoint, and I will use it to attach to this lower part, and when I'm sewing I will gather the main sleeve to the band. So here is it. I've gone ahead to do that, and I'll go ahead to weave it out much later. So now I'll place the middle point, and I'll go ahead to sew gathers, like pleat the sleeve on the dress and then attach the armhole. At the other side I'll also pleat and stitch up the other side. So after I'm done stitching, I went ahead to pin up my dress, and I'll just mark 1 inch on both sides, because for my sewing allowance I used 1.5, and after turning it up with half inch I have 1.5 inches remaining. So you can only use this method if you are actually sure of what you used in sewing, like your sewing is accurate. If not, go ahead to insert your measurements. I have tutorials where you can actually do that. So I'm just going to go ahead to take up that 1 inch all the way up, and also mark it at this side. Also repeat this at the other side of your dress. So after this is what my dress is looking like, and now this is the lower part of the dress, and if you watch the cutting tutorial you're going to know how we achieved this part. So I've gone ahead to fold the lower part, and what I did was to find the center and notch. So the lower part should be at least 2.5 inches to 3 inches for you to get enough pleating at the lower part. And how to get this lower part is that you're going to minus your upper part from the lower part, and anything remaining will serve as the lower part. So what I did was to pin the end of my fabric to the zipper side of my dress, and I'll start pleating. So you can decide to use a gathers on this or use a pleating. So I prefer using a pleating for this. While you're using a pleating, you want to make sure you pin the center of this dress, that is, the pin the center of the upper part and the lower part. Then you can start pleating and sewing. So this is what I have, and I'll continue pleating this. So after sewing, this is the final result of the dress. If you find this video very helpful, please don't forget to leave a comment at the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up and join us in our next video. Thanks.